Hey, hey, hey. What is up, my friends? Welcome, Dommies. We've got Randall in the house. Click here when live stream. I don't know what that just said. Okay. All right. We got a new version of Ecamm Live here running, and I don't know. It's either going to blow up or it's going to work just fine. All right. We've got Randall in the house, Calisthenics Ireland, Bradbury Robinson. Time for the weekly Geary Grilling. Oh, I love it. I love it. John, D123. Philip is here. Ruben is here. Ruben says, good to be here. Good to have you here, Ruben. All right, we're feeling good today. We are going to do a quick round of updates before we dive in. I will say it's let's see what temperature it is. I had a feeling this was going to happen. So a week and a half ago, it was 70s here. I think it got to like 85 at one point. And I told my wife, I was like, March in Atlanta always does this. It'll be like, February, late February, it'll be like warm, like unseasonably warm. And then March, like it gets you all happy, right? You're like, oh, warm weather. It's like a warm hug. You go outside, the sun just feels amazing. And then March just always rips it away from you. And that's exactly what has happened. It is, the low this morning was 28. It's been in the 30s. Had to take my daughter to a softball game last night at night. And it was like, we were sitting out there in like 32 degrees. It was just terrible. So, I'm a little agitated. I'm more agitated than normal because I hate the cold. I absolutely hate the cold. And I even hate it worse when it teases me with warmth and then just rips it away from me. It's not a good situation. So it's cold in the house right now. It's not good. It's not good. I got a taste of spring and it's gone. It's just like that, gone. And there's no sign. I looked at the 10-day fork. There's no sign of it coming back anytime soon. There's one day that it's like in the 60s again, and then it's just back. I don't know. Not good. All right. Do we have any updates? Do we have any updates today on anything going on? Automatic CSS just got I just actually posted a teaser video of some big changes coming to automatic CSS. I have some other big news about automatic CSS that I can't reveal quite yet. Frames. Some WooCommerce stuff will be coming to Frames very, very, very soon. We were waiting. There's a bug, or was a bug. It's fixed now. There was a bug in Bricks with dynamic pulling the star rating from the database with their little dynamic data custom field thing, and it wouldn't pull the value correctly. So obviously with WooCommerce stuff, if you're doing a product card, if you're anything related to products that needs a rating, we weren't able to build our own custom little rating frame, which we were working on. And so kind of all that stuff had to be on hold until that bug got fixed. That bug is now fixed. And I think the first product card section of Frames will come out today, product section alpha. And then we'll be releasing a cart. We'll be releasing a checkout page template. A lot of that stuff for all of you who use WooCommerce. You'll probably be happy about that. That's kind of the only update that I have. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to dive right into our first website today. This is, of course, Web Design for Dommies, where we do in-depth live web critiques. If you are here for the first time, we look at everything that makes a website successful, from the colors to the typography to the copy to the DOM. That's why it's called Web Design for Dommies. We actually look under the hood, see how the code is, see if the site is accessible, see if it's clean, see if it's following best practices. We look at the overall design. We look at UX. We look at everything SEO, everything that makes a website successful. That's what we look at. So I'm going to bring the first website onto the screen, and I am going to share my screen. And hey, look at that. Ecamm has not blown up yet. So that's good. Good job, Ecamm. The new version appears to be working well. All right. Let's see. Just to let you know, if it's your first, second, third time, whatever, this isn't just about listening, right? You get to participate as well. So when I bring a site up on up on the screen. If you have comments on things that are going on the website, drop them in the chat. Let people know your thoughts. And if you have questions about anything, write the word question in all caps and you can ask your question. And if you want me to stop and kind of go off in a tangent and do a little mini tutorial of some sort, we might be able to do that as well. So if you have a specific question that you want to see, also after we do the reviews, I've been saving time to just answer general questions about bricks or UX or UI or how do you do this, how do you do that, whatever you want to know, we can try to get into it. All right, chat is going well, so I'm going to go ahead and dive into this first review. So we've got McGraths.ie. It's an interesting domain extension here. McGrath's Kong. And then I'm seeing 4 logos right off the bat. So we're going to do our no scroll test is what we always do. It's just like, can we figure out what's going on here without scrolling around the website? So I see the main logo here is McGrath's Kong, and that fits the domain name McGrath. So I'm guessing this is like the main company or it's like a parent company of these other things here. I will say I'm getting strong vibes of like the client had a lot of made a lot of decisions here, because I don't see this kind of thing typically with web designers. I see this kind of thing when web designers have to listen to their client. Their client's like, no, you got to put all the logos in the header, every one of them. So they've got, their little sister companies that they're super proud of. And, they think that this website has to market these other websites too. And this is what you end up with. And in fact, this is, wait, hold on. I don't know. I'm looking at the bottom at the URLs. Doesn't appear that these go to other websites. Well, this one does. This one goes to a different website. This one goes to category pages of the current website. So if I click on that, it takes me to a category page. And so this is like, I think for UX, I think especially for accessibility, this would probably be a big issue. Because you're like, this is a little confusing to the user, where you have this main menu over here that does things, takes you to places, but then you almost have like another menu in the form of logos. You have like a logos menu going on here. And so I don't know. That would be a little confusing. I think if you are forced, at gunpoint or something to put these logos, I wouldn't put them here. I would just tell the client, no, that's not a good idea. Let's not do that. If you're forced to though, they have a weapon of some sort and you have to put these here in the header, I wouldn't link them, and I would probably, grayscale these. Let's see if we can quickly do this. Wow. So, all right, cool. Got a lot of SVG stuff. All right. So filter, grayscale. There you go. And then let's opacify it. Let's go to see this? You could do this to all 3 of these. That way, hey, Mr. Client, yeah, they're there. We got some representation for you, but it's not distracting. It's not super distracting. This just collection of hey, here's my logos collection. That not so great. I don't like how we're starting off in the middle of the header here. Let's talk about the menu too. So I'm a fan of these kinds of menus on more techie websites where you're going to have a techie audience. I think for a construction type company, I would most certainly go with a traditional navigation. I would definitely, and because of the things that are having to go on in the header up here, I would have a 2-row header, a dual row header, where you have the navigation on a second row right here, and just have a nice standard navigation for this kind of audience. So that would be a big change that I would recommend you. I mean, you could keep this. It can still, it wouldn't be here on desktop, but you don't have to get rid of the work you did. This can be your mobile menu. But I think you should have a different, just a traditional desktop menu. And I think this would look much cleaner if we put this main logo over here on the left, and then that would actually give you room for these 3 logos to kind of just be next to it. But also I would still say, grayscale them, get them, drop the opacity down, make them less distracting. And then you have your get in touch call to action. Then you just have a nice main navigation here, and that'll kind of get rid of a lot of the confusion I think that a lot of this causes up here. As far as the hero image goes, it's pixelated, it's low resolution, so it's not giving the best professional vibe, right? So we need something that's higher resolution to go in this hero section. And then I think we need to put, oh, this is a slider. I didn't even realize that. Okay, so this is the clients, here's what I'll say. The clients that request this, now I don't know, I'm just guessing. I don't know if this is the case. And, if the person who created the site is here, they're welcome to chime in the chat and let us know what happened, what was the process of this. But what I will say is clients who tend to request things like this also request sliders. They love sliders. They love their logos and they love sliders. And so maybe this was a decision that the client made. I don't know. But I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of these sliders because what you're effectively doing is you are hiding content, number one. If this stuff is important up here, it shouldn't really be hidden, should it? And these red dots down here do indicate a slider, but as the only indication of a slider, it's very easy to miss. I mean, these things blend in. I'm sure that contrast ratio is not accessible. So if somebody's colorblind, it's going to blend in even worse. And, you just really don't know that it's a slider. There's no arrows, which would be typical of a slider here. Having the dots as the only navigation element is probably not the best here. So if it has to be a slider, I'd like to see some arrows on the sides to indicate that. But, we also have an issue where instead of having a nice, vibrant, clean hero section with a strong headline, we've got a slider that just kind of goes through our categories. And so what we lack is a nice, big, selling point headline. And I think we're also going to run into an issue here. Semantic HTML issue. So you notice that this one is an H1, and I'm just guessing that they're all H1s. And we're going to, okay, all right. So at least we didn't make that mistake. So we have H2s for the other ones. But I don't know. Quality concrete and block products. So that seems like this is not a category. This is the attempt at a like a marketing headline, but it just kind of lacks. It's not we're not telling us what's special about this company, right? I get it, you sell quality concrete and block products, but give me more than that. Give me more, right? Talk to me as somebody who might want to do business with you. Right now you're saying, hey, we're a commodity. Let's just be honest. That's what we are. We're a commodity. We have concrete and block products just like everybody else. Do you want to do business with us? That's kind of the question that's being asked to the visitor right now, which is not a very compelling question, right? So we've got to find a way to stand out a little bit and speak to the person in a more impactful way. All right, that's my no scroll test. Drop your thoughts in the chat. I want to see what other people are thinking so far. Managing multiple brands is always difficult if those brands have separate websites. That is true. More logos equals awesomeness for client equals also more confusing equals visitors staying longer on the page to figure out what is what equals better analytics. Yes. Okay, so you can get those vanity numbers up. And yes, I get it. All right, a lot of centering issues with the header logos and also with the hero section. Yeah. The other thing, with the headline being, down below, like I'm trying to figure out why it's aligned to the bottom. And my guess is that they were like, well, we need to see the photo more, which would be maybe a relevant thing if the photos were worth seeing. And, these photos aren't really worth seeing. This is also a really strong, contrast between, right now I'm seeing a factory situation, and then I'm seeing an interior decorating type photo. And that's a big jump. It's a big jump for my brain to make. And then I'm seeing a farm, right? And this is always, it's tough, right? It's tough because these are the categories. These are the categories. But I think maybe the visual presentation could be a little bit better. Road surfacing products. Man, these are stone products. and then just calcium carbonate. Yeah. What I would say is maybe I would go back to the drawing board with what are we going to do here in the hero section? Again, and you're taking something that's a challenge and trying to do it all in the hero with this slider situation. And it doesn't all have to be done in the hero. What the hero needs is a hero image and a hero headline and a hero lead and your main calls to action. And then let's get into the how do we present all of these different categories. How do we talk about all the, figure that out later on down the page. We don't have to do all of that in the hero section. I think that's one of the main issues that's going on right now. We're trying to do too much with the hero, and it's just kind of like, oh my God, as a visitor, where do I go? What do I click on? What am I like, it's a lot. It's throwing a lot at the person. And it's a lot of jumps between factories and interior decorating and farms, and it's just a lot. It's a lot to process. So if we just tone it down to like get rid of the slider, main nice hero image that really speaks to what this company does, strong headline, strong lead paragraph. Now we're in a situation where this website is suddenly more inviting to the visitor. They understand what's going on. Then they can scroll down and maybe we can see this, okay, but then we can get to our product categories. Now, when content is not hidden anymore, it seems a little bit more organized, right? And the client can choose, or the visitor can choose exactly what they want to learn more about. Okay. So like what's happening on the rest of the page is a little bit better than what's happening in the hero up here currently. All right, let's take a look at this first section right here. Serving customers for over 60 years. So the problem with this headline is that, we're trying to speak to experience and expertise, but we're really speaking to nobody because, who is the customer? Am I the customer? Who is the customer here? You're talking past the person that is reading this. Instead of talking, you really with copy, you want to talk directly to the person that's reading it. Well, you're just telling this, right? We serve customers for over 60 years. I don't know if you're a customer. I don't know what you're doing here actually. But I just wanted to let you know that we've served customers for over 60 years. See, it doesn't really connect, right? So I think this needs to be rewritten. We have a 60 years badge, which is always good. It's always good to have a visual of the expertise and experience, but I don't think it fits right here because what it's doing is it's creating a giant gap of white space and it's just pushing this content down. You could actually, maybe get away with putting this after or putting it before this headline. Probably not. You'd have to find a better spot for this little badge. It doesn't belong here. I know that. But, I get that it's hard to find a spot for it. Maybe it would be better, if you had a better hero going on, you didn't have the slider situation, there might be a spot for the badge in the hero. That could work. It just doesn't belong here, though. So let's get rid of that. So let's just delete that. There we go. All right. Now, I think what would fit here is another lead paragraph, right? So you have a little bit of paragraph intro kind of thing, and then you can get into your three kind of company features. I think what also doesn't work here is these icons, right? They come across as, this is very clip arty. We've talked a lot about clip art on web design for Dommies. It's not a great representation. It's like, here's the copy, like I said, talking past the visitor. And then here's an icon that just doesn't connect with the visitor because, if I'm a client of this company, I don't see myself as a scarecrow, right? That's not how I want to envision myself or anybody that works with this company. It's like, it's very stiff. It's very lifeless. It just doesn't connect, right? And then this icon is very, very different from these two icons. This is a filled icon. These are outline icons. So creates too much of a contrast here. These look like they're most certainly from different icon sets. The rings of this icon are thinner than the line of this icon. So really all three are from a different icon set. And then, I get what's going on here, but it doesn't really speak to this that well. An infinity situation doesn't really speak to like, anything this company does sustainability wise. I don't even know. Okay. So maybe put like an environmental type thing here, right? I don't think this icon really fits. I would like to see maybe something going on with these images a little bit, like change their sizes, create a kind of an off alignment grid. Like one can be a tall one can be a square one can be a little wide one can be another kind of tall, but not as tall as the first one kind of situation. I think that can be a little bit more creative of an image group here. So, this section doesn't have to go. It just has to be retooled a little bit, reworked. All right, let's keep going down. David says the family affair icon reminds me of radioactivity. Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of does. Philip says images could use image group Bravo from frames. Yeah, so let's go see what image group Bravo is looking like here. So image group. All right, let's look at image group. It's going to be hard to see. Okay, so yeah, there you go. It's going to be hard to see because this is actually not in a container of any sort. That's yeah. Well, oh geez. Okay. Just look at it on here. There you go. So yeah, that kind of situation right there. So you see this one's appears to be square, or this one's square. I don't know. But see how they're like different heights, and then this one's kind of tucked in there, and then this one's more like a traditional image tall ratio. So yeah, it just gives a little bit more life to the images that are going on in that section. Okay, let's get down to our product categories. So the first thing I notice about these cards is the spacing is off. We have large gaps between the image and the heading, and then between the bottom of the text and the card. We have effectively no gap here between the heading and the text. And then the gap on the sides is way out of proportion with the gaps here. And so just visually, let's see what's going on here with this card. Okay, so here's one issue right here. Where's that coming from? Okay, there's a margin top M on these headings, which does not need to be there. And unfortunately, so this is a frame. These are frames, but they are frames that were customized with utility classes rather than customizing the actual BIM classes that come with the frame. And so this is something we try to avoid at all costs. Does this warrant my new sound effect? This may warrant my new sound effect. Guys, we talked about the sound effect last time, and I was like, I got to program it in. I don't know. Maybe I should save it. We'll just womp this. We'll just womp. I'm going to save the new sound. I'm going to tease you guys a little bit longer. I'm going to save the new sound for something else, something maybe a little bigger. I don't know. But yeah, so pad S doesn't need to be there. And this H3 margin top right here doesn't need to be. I mean, first of all, we don't want utility classes when we have custom classes available, because we're just creating an unscalable situation out of a situation that already was ready to be scalable and maintainable. We never want to combine. If you have a custom class, use the custom class. Don't introduce utility classes. That would be littering. We talk about that. It is littering your utility classes. You don't want to litter. Nobody wants to be a litterer, okay? Don't make this site dirty, all right? We don't want to litter our utility classes. Use the custom classes that are available to you. Where are we? Okay. Man, I'm trying to figure out where all this spacing is coming from. Some of this is coming from the stretch that is on to make these cards all the same height. What I want to do is figure out the body situation here. There you go. So there's the body class. And then this is where you would, there's a padding top set on that. Man, we got padding and spacing going everywhere here. Okay. So if this was padding like var space m, something like that. Now we get consistent left and right, consistent top and bottom, though we're still, it looks like there's a gap in this card somewhere. Yeah, there's a row gap. Okay, that's not needed. So you don't need the gap because there's a body and a header. Oh geez, I clicked on it. Oh gosh. Okay. There's a body and a header. So the body is just going to get the padding, and therefore you don't need gaps. You don't need a gap between the image and the body, right? Here's the body, and then here's the image. So you don't need a gap between the two because the body padding is going to handle that perfectly fine. Now the body is not stretching the full height of the card. Now it is, because I put this flex 1 on here. So now the body is stretching the full height of the card. And what we're going to do for right now, see how my effect is not happening to all of the cards? That's because of those utility classes that are littered in here. Excuse me. So there's now a situation where I would have to go card to card to card to card, removing those utility classes that are causing the spacing issues and then fixing them. And that's not something that we're going to do on here because we're not chumps, okay? We're not chumps. We try to avoid that situation. I'm not going to do it because I actively try to avoid that situation. So we don't want to use those utility classes in the first place. But this is kind of the situation we would want to get to. And then where you would have a gap is in the body to gap between the heading and the text, right? So now you would put your gap in here, and this would be like var space XS, or actually there's a contextual utility class, FR card gap, right? So all of your cards will have the same gap when you use FR card gap. Now you get in a situation like this, and the white space at the bottom is okay when you don't have this extra space at the top with the card alignment being stretched. But what you would want to do is allow for more text now. There's really no reason to cut off this text at 2 lines when you're allowing these to be 3 lines. You want to cut off so that they're all 3 lines, and then they're all going to be even height, and there's no extra spacing in the card whatsoever at that point. So there's just a lot of things to tweak here to get the spacing correct inside of these cards, which they were correct by default, okay? So in frames, like if you got this frame, the spacing would have been correct by default. So we introduced uneven spacing or spacing issues with the addition of these utility classes that did not need to be here. And I'm not sure why they were put in, but they just don't need to be. They're only causing problems. Now, let's talk about this situation where we have a 3 and a 2, because I see this happen a lot. And we're going to look at the DOM here and see exactly how this was accomplished. But my argument is this did not need to be accomplished. And you know, this is the effect some people want, where they're like, well, I have an odd number of items. And what they don't want, let's go ahead and check, because I can show you what this would look like naturally. Okay. All right. This is a call for the new sound.
Oh no. No.
All right. That's my new sound. So we have 2 lists going on here. There's a UL and a UL, and this is one list of categories. So we can't introduce a second list here because that's semantically inaccurate. You're telling the bots, you're telling the screen readers, hey, there's 2 separate lists here, my guy. No, but there's really not. This is only one list of product categories. So we cannot introduce a second UL. Now, you introduced a second UL because you wanted to change the grid structure from 3 to 2. I see what's going on here. So I'm going to change not 32. I'm going to change this one to 3 as well. This is the situation you were trying to avoid. Now, notice you're not limiting the text on these, but you're limiting the text on these. But in your mind, you're like, well, I don't want there to be a space here. But this is how grids work, and it's absolutely fine. We talked about this on the last episode of Web Design for Dommies. Having a gap here is absolutely fine. Okay, visually, this is not a problem whatsoever other than the spacing issues, other than the text length issue between these cards and these cards. If all of the spacing and the text length were consistent, this would look absolutely fine. It should all be one list. It should all be controlled with a query loop. Okay, we can already see that this is not driven by a query loop as well, which I also think is a bit of a problem. So let me refresh. Why did we do this situation and make the cards wider? What is the problem with it? Well, from a user experience perspective, the problem with it is when you make these cards larger to make them take up the entire width of this row, you're subconsciously telling the visitor that these two things are more important than these three things. They're larger, so they call more attention to themselves. They're different from the others. Why are they different? There must be a reason they're different from the others. Well, to most users, they'd be like, well, maybe these are the main categories. Maybe these are the things you specialize in. Maybe, I don't know. But they look more important because they're bigger and they're wider and their images are larger and there's more text written about them. Something tells me that you want me to think that these things are important, but I know they're probably not more important. They're probably just like these things. So they should look just like these things. And that's a better UX because you're introducing confusion when you're saying, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me more than you look at these things. But why? I don't know. Because I didn't want an empty space in my grid. That was really the explanation, right? It's not that these things are more important, it's that we didn't want the extra space in the grid. Now, if you really, really like it so offends your OCD, or again, your client has a weapon and the client's like, no, we're not going with that. You're going to put something there, or you're going to fix this situation. Well, your other option is you could put a CTA card in here. Okay, so it's product, or this is category, CTA. Now you filled your space, but you filled it with a secondary thing. See this view all products button? This get in touch button? Well, this view all products could be a card. You could design a card. It can have its own little background color, kind of stands out, and it's like a view all products kind of situation, or view all category. Yeah, view all products, I guess, would be just fine. But you put this CTA in this empty space right here. That's an option for you. If you must fill the empty space. I don't think there's a problem with the empty space whatsoever. Okay, let's keep going down. What are we saying? What about center and using Flexbox instead? I'm not a big fan of that either because I don't think it doesn't. We talked about this on the last episode of Web Design for Dommies. Not only do you have to change your whole structure here from a grid to a Flexbox, but you got to do other shenanigans, like with your card width now. Your card width has to be tightly controlled. And then you end up with two centered cards, which also looks a little weird. It kind of looks weird. There's just no reason for it, in my estimation. So I would just leave it like this and move on with your life. And then if another category ever gets added, it'll fill the spot. Or you can fill the spot with a CTA, just like I talked about. How to put a CTA card there? Is it queried? No, it's not. No, not queried at all. It's actually very easy. So imagine that these other four cards don't exist. Only this category card exists. This is your query loop right here. Then you add the CTA card right next to it. And the query loop will populate, and the CTA card will just always be at the end of the list after the query loop populates. So you just have a query loop card and a CTA card, and you're done. That's it. So hopefully that answers that question. Symmetry is important. Blank space looks weird. It's not, though. This is symmetrical. You just clearly have one less item, right? But if you look at all grids anywhere, they're not always have the exact amount of cards that are needed. You can look at people cards all the time in grids, and there will be 3, 3, 3, and then 2, and it's perfectly fine because it's still organized. Your brain understands the grid layout structure. If you have 2 in the center, it's not necessarily like it creates like a little triangle situation, but that's not happening anywhere else on the website, right? You just have this one random grid where 2 things happen to be centered at the bottom, and then you don't have clean gutters down the middle anymore. So I don't know. It's not wrong to do Flexbox and center the bottom 2 cards. It's just more work. And then my argument is, why do the extra work to do that? Why change the entire structure of this section just to get 2 cards centered at the bottom when visually, to me, it's like it doesn't add that much, if anything at all. Sometimes it just looks weird depending on how the cards are designed. All right, let's see. I get there's accessibility design standards. Can we also factor in the target demographic when doing some of this stuff? What are you talking about specifically? Not to give less importance to blind users, but would a blind person really be looking at this website? Yeah, 100% blind people would be accessing this website. Yeah, if you've got somebody who works in this industry and, one of their jobs is product ordering, anything like that, they could absolutely need to navigate this website for sure. But it's not just blind people. When I talked earlier about the color of these dots, it's colorblind people too. My dad was colorblind. There's tons and tons of colorblind people, right? So they're not blind, but they don't see colors very well. And there's different categories of color blindness. And so, contrast ratios are very important because, people can't see these dots. They don't even know they exist. Now you've got a user that doesn't really know this is a slider or how many things are in the slider or where am I in the slider, which, by the way, we didn't even mention. This is another problem. These dots don't indicate which slide you're on, right? So, that would be another issue there. But yeah, accessibility is very important. It's not just blind people that we're, building sites for or thinking about when we think about accessibility. There's a lot of different types of disabilities, and we want as many people as possible to be able to use the website because we would like to sell to as many people as possible. That's kind of the, if you want the business side of it, that would be the business argument for accessibility. Let's see. Okay. All right, good. So down here with the products. So this is a symmetry problem right here. So you want to talk about symmetry, right? So here's the vertical alignment of the website. And this card starts way inside of the outside alignment, but there's no visual and this is actually hoverable right here. This part of the card that seems to not exist is hoverable, which is not a great thing. So what happened here is that's the card. The card just happens to have a background color of white or no background color, so it's blending into the section. But what you're showing to the visitor is, we've oddly offset the alignment of these items from where the page is, right? This should be aligned to the left over here, or these cards should have a background color. I would also say that these images should be larger. So if we came into something like this, now we're getting into a better situation. But still, these cards, where's the actual card here? Here's the LI. This is the card. Now, this is a little bit different here because this is in is there any padding on the? Yeah, there's got to be padding on these. It doesn't appear there's any padding. Okay, their width is being controlled because they're in this slider. So what I would say is there's some adjustments that need to be made here to get this alignment issue resolved. And then I will say, I don't know what's happening with these images, but they look oddly like cut off, right? Doesn't that look like cut right there? And I don't know if let's actually look at the image. Here's the figure right here. Look at it. Yeah, it's just like that. So it's not like CSS or any issue like that it's just a weird image. It's just not a great image. And so what I tell clients in this kind of situation is, look, we're poorly representing your product. This is why investing in photography is very important. I mean, there's got to be a better way to show this. There has to be a better way to show. This is, gives like very amateur vibes. This doesn't come across as like a small company by any means. It seems like they have money. And so let's invest the money in getting some good imagery. I mean, this is the most important thing. This is your product. This is how we're going to represent this product? I don't think so. This would be I would be putting my foot down on that one. I'd say, no, we have to invest in photography. If we're going to do it this way, we have to invest if you have to show this product, then we have to do better. We have to do better here with the photography situation. It's also weird that, again, we've got all these different categories, but it's the juxtaposition between I'm looking at rocks or sand, and then I'm looking at chickens. And then I'm looking at the back of a tractor that's like 5 pixels wide. it's not a consistent visual. And I don't know that this needs to be in a slider either. Because here's what I'm seeing. Look, here's the grow lime. I don't even know what that is. There's grow lime right there. So literally, I slide once and I'm back to the beginning, which tells me, this does not need to be a slider. It should just be a grid. Just make a grid of these, and that can't be the only products. Maybe this isn't done. You got all these categories and these are the only products? I'm thinking that's not correct. Let's click on this. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, we've got a lot more products here. So, yeah, look at all these. Unless there's overlap between these. There's only one there. There's only two there. Okay, I don't know. But they're not all represented in this slider. The slider would be important when there's many, 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 many things, right? And so they can go through them. But if I just start the slider over, right, I'm just seeing the same things as I slide through over and over and over again. So that doesn't need to be a slider. Let's just get a grid there. Just make a grid there. Let's talk about this situation. I see this situation commonly. What we have to do is tailor, it looks like these have been loaded in, hopefully, into a custom post type. And, I'm guessing that this is spaced apart, this content. Let's see what's going on here. All right, so we've got a div up here for our stars. We've got the body. We've got the footer. Woo, look at that. All right, so if I grab this, there's our row gap. But see the gaps? The gaps are a little redundant with the way the spacing is going on in this card. They are align items flex start. It's just the stretch. There's a stretch on the cards, and then I'm guessing that this is like a margin top of auto. Yep, there it is. Margin top of auto. Okay. So you want to avoid this situation at all costs, right? And the situation is caused by the text discrepancy. There's a little bit of text here and a whole lot of text here. And it's just very important. You either limit the amount of text that goes into a testimonial or you curate the text of the testimonial. You can take all of this and kind of take out all the filler nonsense it's not really impactful, and just show the impactful part of the testimonial and try to get the lengths of the testimonials as close as possible so that you don't end up with situations like this. And if we view all testimonials, we're going to see this problem kind of all over the place. Giant long testimonials, small testimonials. It's hard to deal with, but there are ways to deal with it for sure. But as focus on these testimonials. Well, I don't want to focus on this gigantic gap right here. That's really distracting. So, for these two cards side by side, for sure, we've got to curate this a little bit. And then I was going to say why, what's with the big gap between the stars and the text here? I would try to get rid of that. Okay. It's not, all right. That's odd. Oh, it's because these, okay. Why is it not selecting? You guys see this? It's not selecting. Are those empty paragraph tags? Is that what's going on here? Yeah. Those were just empty paragraph tags. I was like, why? There's no padding in there. Like, what's going on? All right, here's the paragraph. Right there. There's another empty paragraph tag. So I think what's happening here, if I had to guess, is this is a query loop. You're pulling this dynamically, but you've pulled content from a rich, probably the WYSIWYG custom field into a paragraph tag element, which causes paragraph tag duplication. This actually needed to be a div, and then it would put the paragraphs inside of it correctly. And, it's unfortunate that you need the extra div or whatever to have the dynamic content from a WYSIWYG, but it's just life. But if you put the WYSIWYG content in a paragraph tag, I think we covered this maybe the last episode or the episode before, you end up with duplicate paragraph tags or extra paragraph tags and sometimes blank paragraph tags. There's also a setting where you use, let's go in here, on the WYSIWYG element. Do I even have any custom fields in here? No. Well, we can put one in. I don't need a new group. I need a new field. Thank you. So you add the WYSIWYG custom field, and then you save data in the raw format. I believe that's the setting. If you're using Metabox, you click this setting, and that will usually solve any empty paragraph or duplicate paragraph tag issues. But you still have to make sure that you put the WYSIWYG custom field content dynamic data in a div and not in a paragraph element. Okay, that'll solve that. Let's go over this. Latest from Instagram. Here's another client request all the time. If I was doing the design of this page, never in a million years would I say, you know what you need? You need your Instagram feed. You know what you need, construction company? You know what construction buyers really care about? Your Instagram. That's what they really care about, is Instagram. No, they don't care a lick about your Instagram feed. And here's a problem, that I say this is a huge problem. What is the goal of the website? The website is the central marketing hub, the online marketing hub. Your entire goal of having a website is to get people to the website. If you have an Instagram, if you have a Facebook, if you have a TikTok, these are like satellites that orbit around your website. And the goal is not to get people to the satellites. It's to get people from the satellites to home base, which is your website. You're going backwards here. You're saying, hey, we got you on home base, but don't you really want to go to one of our satellites? Come on, man, click and go somewhere else. And even worse, even worse, it happens in the same tab. And so now you've taken hard-earned traffic and you're like, just go off to Instagram and start looking at cats and people's pictures of their meals. And don't worry about us so much, right? Just go take a little trip through Instagram. And hopefully you'll make it back around to us someday. That's exactly what's happening here. Don't do this. I hate seeing this on websites. Unless you're an influencer. That's it. That's the only time. If you are an influencer and you crush it on Instagram and you want more eyeballs on Instagram, this is perfectly fine. If you're a construction company, ain't nobody care about no construction company's Instagram page. Tell you that right now, okay? And you're taking hard-earned traffic that's on the main online marketing hub for this company, and you're just shooting them off into outer space. Because once they go here, they ain't coming back. Most likely, they're not coming back. So, delete. But here's the thing. Clients will be like, we have to have our Instagram on there. Or, Bev from marketing, from McGrath Marketing, Bev is like, you got to put our Instagram on there. No, Bev, we don't. We're not, Bev, I hate to break it to you, but we're not putting the Instagram feed front and center right here and getting people to click on it. And I know you want your Instagram numbers up, Bev, but we're not doing that. Okay, that's not helping us sell more stuff. And so this has got to go right here. Delete that. Latest news. Fine. Okay. Let's go down. We got our footer. Okay, clean. I think we've done enough on this website. We're 50 minutes in. We can jump to our second way. I think we got enough just on the homepage here. We can go into the other pages. We can do other stuff, but we've talked about enough on this homepage right here. We all know a Bev. Bev shows up every episode. You know Bev is going to make her appearance. All right, Simone says, don't send people outside. 100%. Leave Beth alone. Fred is worse. Hey, it could absolutely be Fred and marketing. All right, so let's see. Thanks, Kevin. Teach me how to get out of a hellfire of maintenance and managing a website. Yes. All right. Never took much notice of accessibility stuff until I had a problem with one eye, and it doesn't do contrast too well. Suddenly notice how many places use light gray on white paper. Yes. All right, cool. Are you guys ready to move on? Any questions before we move on? Drop your questions in. I'm going to go ahead and close this one up. Also be thinking about any mini tutorials you want to see. Let's bring this next website onto the page. All right, and let me get my eCam window back so I can see our chat. Okay. All right, let's roll right into this one because I do want to save time for anybody who has any little tutorial requests or anything like that. Let me get a sip of water here. Okay. This was this translated? Let me go incognito for a second. No. Okay. There was no request to translate. Okay, so this is in English. Okay, good. First off, right off the bat, I don't know. One, there's no SSL certificate here. I'm guessing this is a temporary address for your agency, that you're doing something cute with ididyourwebsite.com. But do you only work on one website at a time, that you load up their site on this URL, right? Because you don't have, multiple of these. Maybe you do. Maybe you're like, ididyourwebsitetoday.com. ididyourwebsiteyesterday.com. I don't know what's going on with this. Whose website is this? Tell me what's going on with your domain up here. But we've got Meridell's. Meridell, is that how you pronounce it? Holistic Therapy. This is in Spain. I don't know what this means. I don't know if this is a family name or it means something special. Not sure. But here's what no scroll test, Dommies. What am I going to say about this right here? This situation, this whole, I'm just going to circle this whole situation right here. You should already know, if you've been to multiple episodes now, what are we going to say about this hero right here? There's something very important about it. Very, very, very important about it. Fred wants more logos. Bev wants the gram. Yes. It was probably Fred, 100%. Fred's the business mind, right? Fred's like, oh, no, we got to show all of our sister company logos up there. So Fred was responsible for the logos, and Bev in marketing 100% wants people on the gram. She doesn't care about the website because she's not responsible. She's the social media person, right? She only cares about the social media channels. So she wants everybody on the gram. Oh, Kristaps, he nails it. The first Dommy says missed opportunity. Yeah, what is the missed opportunity? The missed opportunity is very clear and apparent. In the header, you've told me this is Meridell's Holistic Therapy, and you've shown me the sun. Okay, the I don't know what those things are called. Well, it's actually the moon. It's the moon, but it's what are these called? There's a name for these things. But anyway, you've told me this is Meridell's Holistic Therapy right here. But now you're saying, hey, we also want to tell you again. We want to remind you, in case you forgot after looking at our header, this is Meridell's Holistic Therapy. And you just added a couple more words here. But what we need, what should be here is an impactful heading, an impactful lead paragraph, something that really tells me what's going on here. And really what's happened is you've just told me the exact same thing in two different places, 500 pixels away from where you told me the first thing. You just told it to me again. So we need something different here. What should it say? I don't know. As we get down the page, we can think about it. Maybe we'll come back and revisit this. What could this say? But right now, it's a waste of an opportunity to have an impactful heading, an impactful lead paragraph, and really suck the visitor in and make them want to see what's going on here. All right. There's not much else we can do on the no scroll test other than, this is a little interesting. We're open. Okay. I wonder if this is dynamic based on the hours of the day and the days of the week. That would be cool if it was. This menu situation. What are we going to say about this menu situation? Is people who want holistic therapy, are they known to be a very techie audience? I don't think so, but this is a very techie header, right? And so sometimes I see the web designer is techie, so they're like, well, we got to go the techie route. But really, it's a situation where I would just like to see a standard menu. Look at all this wasted space up here where we could just have menu items and the person could just see right when they arrive what they want to click on. And they don't have to go, where's the menu? You know, imagine my mom, right? My mom, you know, she's not the most techie person on earth. She calls me about everything. I feel like I'm tech support for my mom. And she would not, I don't think she would go right here and be like, oh, that's the menu, and just click on it and open it. And so, you know, if it was my mom, she's probably not getting any holistic therapies. She would probably get a little confused with what's going on here and maybe not become a buyer. And see, look at this. Look at this faint menu. Anybody, you know, colorblind, they're not seeing this back here. This is definitely not accessible. See that? Ooh, there it is. Did you have trouble seeing it before? There it is. Very techie, right? It's like I would expect to see this on like a gaming site or like I don't even know. Just very techie site. Not this site. Not a holistic therapy site. This just kind of feels out of place. In fact, I will say this font feels out of place, doesn't it? Doesn't this is a very like, I hate using the same word over and over again. This is kind of a very techie kind of font. I don't know. It gives me like Star Trek vibes or something, or like, I don't know. It doesn't feel warm and inviting, and it doesn't particularly feel very feminine, which it seems like this would be more of a feminine kind of thing. I'm thinking the typography has to be redone here. I mean, I guess this, you know, the body text is fine, but look at this. What's going on with our paragraphs right here? We'll take a look at that in just a second. All right. What are your first thoughts? What are your first thoughts on this site right here? Someone says alignment issues. Is it not too far? I don't know what too far means. Oh, you mean like way too much white space here? Yeah, I would say so. What's going on here? All right, so this is Oxygen. Wow, I have not seen. It's been a minute since I've seen Oxy Ninja. Been a minute. And I gotta get used to this because Oxygen puts the padding in the wrong container for sections. So there it is right there. C Hero 1. But that's actually not what's doing the job. I'm guessing there's a height on this section. There it is. 100V. Oh, no.
Oh, no. No.
We don't want to use height. You don't want to use height, an explicit height for this. Because now it's not a problem with this content here, but if the content ever got a lot larger, it would overflow. It would cause an overflow issue. Can you duplicate? And oh gosh, it just changed my whole thing. Is there a shortcut for duplicating elements? Like I can right click and do, is it really? They don't have a shortcut for this? Okay, well the padding on here, did I remove the padding? Oh, no, we're good. We're just approaching the, overflow point. Duplicate. I wish there were bigger things I could duplicate. Duplicate again. Duplicate again. There you go. Once it also depends on your screen size here. I do have a very large screen, so it takes a little bit more to create an overflow. But look what's happening. Because your hero is not allowed to get any bigger. It is explicitly set to 100 VH, and that overflow situation is going to be even worse if I'm on a smaller screen, right? So this is a no bueno situation. Let me refresh here. How can we improve this? Well, number one, we can take off the height, 100 VH. Now let's see. Okay, instantly we're getting better. Oh, check this out. This is why you use automatic CSS, right? This site is not built with automatic CSS. We have an overlay header. I talked about this many, many times before. This is a one-click fix in automatic CSS. You have an overlay header. The problem with overlay headers is that they eat up padding inside the first container. And so what you have with this section is even padding. So if I go here, and we have to go to the inner container because it's oxygen, and oxygen puts this on the wrong container, like I said before, we see the padding top and the padding bottom are equal, 150 pixels. Now, we shouldn't use pixels, but nevertheless, they're equal. 150 is equal to 150. Does this look like even padding to you? Look at the amount of padding here and the amount of padding between here and the start of our header. It's not even. Visually, it's not even because the header takes up a lot of space. So what we have to do is create an offset. And it's a real pain in the ass to create this offset manually everywhere. Now in automatic CSS, you just say offset header content and bam, it's done. It's fixed. So you just put in the height of your header and you're off to the races. You're good to go. And it makes all of this perfectly even. So, just a quick selling point for automatic CSS there. Finding common issues on websites and fixing them with one click is a little bit of what we do. So yeah, but this is a better hero right here. You don't need the gigantic 100 VH hero situation. All right, let's talk about this right here. It's different. It's very different, right? So, first of all, I think the centering of the text and stuff is throwing me off. So there's an H2. Where's the centering coming from? Right here. Okay, let's check that out. I don't know. Maybe it has to be centered. It's just this whole visual situation looks a little bit much to me. I don't know. Also because it's full width and I'm just on a gigantic screen. What is this? What's the experience on a smaller screen? Let's get this over here. Let's get this, maybe something in there. All right. I don't know. I don't know. Is anybody digging this layout right here with all these card options on the left and then this big image on the right with another kind of visit the well-being center? I mean, what do you want them to do, right? What do you want the user to do? I would think you're presenting the therapies. That's what you want them to focus on. That's what you want them to click on. Why are we pulling attention away from that with this second half of the screen and a completely separate call to action? Icons too detailed and not enough contrast in the colors to be that small. There's also a hover issue, right? I can barely see that hover glow effect back there. So I think there needs to be a little bit more going on with our hover effect. But what is also the problem here is these are very clip arty. Once again, we're into the realm of clip art. And doesn't this look very cheap and chintzy and just like amateur, right? Look at this. What is this? What is this dude doing with his thumb? I don't even want to know. Future life progression. I'm not even sure what that is. I would say as well, this kind of presentation assumes that people know what these things are. Does anybody know what automatic spirit writing is? I don't. Daily energy routine, don't know. So when you have a situation like this, what should we do? Well, we need a little sentence right here under each one. There needs to be a little explainer sentence under each one of these to help people understand what's going on before I click. Right now, you're kind of forcing me to click on every single one of them. So I'm going to click on this one and see where we go. Once again, we have the 100 VH hero situation happening. Takes up a lot of screen real estate. I'm a fan of this and I don't even think Tesla does it. Okay, they do it with this hero. Okay, they do. All right, that's why it triggered in my brain. When is it appropriate to take up the entire screen with a section? Okay, let's compare and contrast. I'm going to let you guys answer this, okay? Here is a 100 VH section. Here is a 100 VH section. I'm saying this one is wrong. I'm saying this one is right. What is the difference? What is the difference? There is a clear difference. This, and it has nothing to do with this clip art icon. Get rid of these clip art icons, please. Joker says he likes the color palette though. Yeah, I don't have any problem with the color palette. The color palette is just fine. I like the colors. I don't like the typography, and I don't like the way the colors are necessarily used, right? Like these glows that I would expect to see on like I said, in gaming or something, like a gaming brand. That would be fine, but this is not a gaming brand. It's a completely different vibe. Yeah, so Edward says, look at here. We have gorgeous photography of the product, right? And so you're like, this is not the content. Okay, this is just a little badge, effectively. The content is this image. It's like we need to show this. We paid hundreds of thousands of dollars, most likely, for this photography. No joke. Tesla paid, and I'm not saying all in all they pay 100. I'm saying for this little photo shoot right here that just made up their homepage, they probably paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for. Commercial photography is not cheap. So, and it's beautiful. And it's like, that is the presentation. So let's make it as big as possible. Let's make it take up the entire screen. Good design decision. This, nothing, none of that is going on here. This is a stock photo. It's darkened. It's pixelated. It's like none of that is going on here in this hero section. So this just does not, if you don't have a reason, if you don't have a good reason, this is a good reason, not a good reason to take up the entire person's screen. Okay, let's go back. Typography is part of the initial branding, I think, if you look down the page. What do you mean? Yeah. No, I know. It's that the same font is in the logo. I mean, I don't like it there either. They're using the same font on the page as in the logo. I get it. But also look at the spacing of the characters. This I'll just tell you, the logo was not done by a really solid branding designer. 100%. I mean, look at the icon is nearly touching the text here. So it's just, there's problems with the logo. It's just the font altogether. Scrap the font in the logo and across the web. It's just, we need different typography here. What is AI generated? Let's see. GPT Tesla 4. What's happening with the scrolling on that page? Is it smooth scroll, hard to use? I'm not getting a smooth scroll effect, and I do agree with you. I hate smooth scrolling type stuff. I'm not getting that effect, but they did style the scroll bar. Emotional damage. Let's see. Maybe it's too dark to be a therapy site, or is that dark color is good? I could see you making the case for, a dark site for a therapy site is not the best. But I think if you're saying, look, we don't want to be like everybody else, I think that's what was going on here, right? We have this holistic therapy business. We don't want to be like everybody else. We want to stand out. We want to have our own look and feel. We want to, we really want to be different. And I think I don't think there's any problem with the fact that it's dark. I think the problems arise with the other aspects of it. The typography, how the color is used, like with these hover effects, the clip art icons, which, by the way, the clip art icons, the color doesn't jive with anything else that's going on this page, right? I don't see this blue anywhere else. So, why is it there in the clip art? Probably because that was the color of the clip art. It can't be changed. I don't know. Is this an SVG? Yeah, it's just an image. Let me get this out. Oh, it is an SVG image. So you could have changed this, but it would require you to open every one of these icons in Illustrator. And that would just be a pain in the ass. Yeah, 100%. But I just get rid of them all together. I mean, look at this. Hypnotherapy. I don't want to see a dude that's hypnotized, like old school cartoon hypnosis, like his eyes are spinning. That's not giving off the right vibe for hypnotherapy. So all these icons got to go. Yeah, 100%. All those icons got to go. It's too masculine for a holistic therapy site, in my opinion. I like the colors, though. But yeah, so I think the vibe you're getting for masculine is a lot of that's coming from the typography, the all uppercase, right? You know, yeah, the modern kind of techie gamer vibe on the hovers. Because I don't think this color is specifically masculine. I don't think the background colors are specifically masculine. I don't know what's going on with these like 3D wave kind of things in the background, which changes from section to section. I don't think that really adds anything to what's going on. I don't think this needs to be a full width section, right? So you've got your two people that are existing way over here on a big screen. The text that's talking about these two people exists way over here. So we end up with this gigantic gap in the middle. This is why you have to be very careful with website widths and how you're presenting content. Because on a normal screen, well, hold on. I mean, wow. What happened? Why did it scroll me to the top? All right, let's go back to here. Look at that. That's a problem, right? I mean, this doesn't look great. These images do not scale appropriately. They get it takes me back to the top when it stacks. Those get way too small, way too fast. And you still end up with kind of too large of a gap there. Look at that. That's way too large of a gap for this screen size. You also have a very light border that hardly anybody can see around this box, which has extra padding in it, which isn't needed because I can't really see the visual border. So it's just, to me, it looks like it's just creating a lot of extra spacing. So there's definitely some issues there. I'll show you guys the box. You probably can't see it with the resolution that we're dealing with here. There's the box. See how it's in a box? But you really can't tell when you load the site that it's in a box. That line is so faint. And so all this padding is just extra spacing that doesn't need to exist. All right. Let's go to a subpage. Let's check out a subpage. Let's go to therapies. It's taking a while. Let's look at the chat here. Question. In that case, if they have a shitty logo but don't have the budget yet to hire a branding expert, should you go off their brand guidelines? May it be typography or color palette? Really, really, really good question. I'll put that up on the screen. There's a couple different ways to handle this. The way that I handle it is I take the client aside digitally, right? So we get on a call or whatever, and I talk to them first about where the logo came from. Because the last thing you want to do is, just start disparaging the logo. Because then you come to find that the client actually created the logo, and they just absolutely think they did a fantastic job with it. So the first thing is you want to know where the logo came from. Where did the logo come from? And I usually say, hey, I see all the products that you have here. I'd like to know more about your target customer. We do this during the discovery phase. I mean, these are natural questions, right? We want to know what kind of people are expected to come to the website. Tell me about your target customer and tell me a little bit about how your logo came to be. How did this branding come to be? Did you guys hire a branding person? What kind of concepts did you go through? What were you going for? Get them to start really talking about the process and how we arrived at this not great thing. And they'll get all into it. And then what I typically do is I will speak to their goals, right? You told me you had a goal of reaching this kind of person. This logo that I'm looking at, based on my 24 years of experience, isn't a great fit for that market. It's not a great fit for what you're trying to accomplish, okay? And then I'll start pointing out some issues, right? So the letter spacing, we'll point that out. We'll point out the spacing issues between the icon and the actual text. We'll point out the way too wordy here. There's too much going on in the text itself. There's a lot of things that we can point out, right? And so we'll just kind of start going through it. And then what I might, it's depending on the answers that are given. What if they're like, well, my long lost daughter, this was her favorite thing when she was 8. And there's always some reason why this has to be there. There's something about that had to be there. And if that has to be the case, it's like, okay, we'll keep that. We'll keep that. But what I'd like to do is give it to my branding person and let's clean this up a little bit. And let's maybe rethink the typography because it's really not great typography for the logo. And so let's basically take what's there and just fix it, okay? Because there's some things here that could just be fixed. And suddenly, when you fix the typography, maybe this thing, right, is their long-lost family heirloom. And it's got to be there, okay? But that doesn't say anything to the typography. So I don't have any problem with that if I can fix this. Can I fix this, please? Please let me fix this. And then suddenly when we fix this, we don't have to copy the problem here and everywhere else on the page with every heading. So suddenly we're now working towards a better place. And that's kind of how I deal with it. And then they'll be like, well, if it's like construction, right? Oh, well, we got to change it on every truck. I'm like, well, you should have talked to me before you decorated the trucks. Yeah, it's a problem, but like, don't take the junk and say, well, let's just multiply the junk. And, because we multiplied the junk, we got to keep the junk. No, you don't. You really don't. We should just do this right. Now, the problem is more expensive now because you're only consulting with me now. And somebody should have pointed this out ahead of time, and it's unfortunately they didn't. But it still does need to be fixed. It's definitely still a problem. So that's kind of how I handle it. And you know what? Sometimes in those situations where we got 30 trucks, we can't redo them all. Well, you can't redo them all now, but you can redo them all at some point, and we need to be working towards that. So, it is what it is. You got to tell them the truth. All right, let's keep moving on. We've got the icon is not fit to the dark theme. Correct. They need some softer pictures, moments, new icons, fonts, etc. Yes. Let's go to the subpage that we were talking about. I just want to know what spirit writing is. Is this like spirit cooking? Hopefully it's not like spirit cooking. I don't know. That was the vibe I started to get. You remember that situation? I don't know. Maybe you don't. If you're not from the US, maybe you don't remember that situation. Automatic writing is a psychic or parapsychological phenomenon that enables a person to produce written words without consciously writing. Okay. Okay, we could do a lot of copy analysis here. Let's just focus on copy now. We did a lot on the design. Let's just focus on copy. We already said on the homepage that, this hero copy doesn't work. But now we're getting more specific. We have something specific that we can talk about. Automatic spirit writing. Now, I don't know anything about automatic spirit writing. But what I do know, it's actually good. It's good that I don't know anything about it because your copy should educate me. I'm going to assume that a lot of people that come here don't know what automatic spirit writing is. In fact, let's do a quick poll in the chat. If you know what automatic spirit writing is, type yes. And if you don't, type no. We'll just keep it very simple. Keep the voting very simple. If you know what it is, hit yes. If you don't know what it is, hit no. And when I say know what it is, I maybe you heard about it before. Maybe the term rattled around in your brain somewhere at some time. But I mean, you actually know what it is, enough to sign up for it. Somebody says yes. All right. Try to be nice. I know there's some people who aren't woo. They're not woo-woo. So not everybody is woo-woo, but we can still be nice to woo-woo. So we got a lot of no's. No. We got one yes. Okay. So by reading this page, I should get a good understanding of what automatic spirit writing is, how it works, what the benefits to me will be, what the outcome will be. What is my current problem? What will the outcome be? These are the things that I should gather from reading this page. Let's see if I gather these things. No. Yes. No, but I'm not into holistic stuff, so it might be insider jargon. Okay. Automatic writing is so first of all, automatic spirit writing, automatic writing. Okay, we got to use the exact term again. Automatic spirit writing is a psychic or parapsychological phenomenon. So is it a phenomenon or is it a service? Is it a controlled thing? Is it a thing that just happens? Need some clarification here. That enables a person to produce written words without consciously writing. Great. You told me the feature. You still have yet to tell me the benefit. And we've talked about this on many episodes of Web Design for Dommies. When you are writing copy, there's an itch that people have to describe the feature or describe the product. And for some reason, they very often fail to tell anybody why it matters, right? And I use the example all the time of you're trying to sell a computer. So like, but sir, it's got 8 gigs of RAM. It's got a 300 terabyte hard drive. It's got this, it's got that. You're great. You're telling me the features. Let's go back to my mom. Selling my mom a computer. Mom, it's got 32 gigs of RAM. I just told her the feature. And what does she have to say back to me? Why the hell does that matter? What does that mean? Mom, it's got a 1 terabyte hard drive. Why should I care? Mom, it's got this, it's got that. You're not selling anything to anybody. You're just spitting out features. And so you're telling me automatic writing is a psychic or parapsychological phenomenon that enables a person to produce written words without consciously writing. Why? Why would I care? Why should I do this? Why should I keep reading? What is the outcome going to be? What is the benefit going to be? If you want to write a good lead paragraph, you say quickly what it is, why it matters. What it is, in this highlighted area, why it matters. Right here. This does not have a why it matters. So I'm still searching for the why it matters. Let's keep searching. We're going to go down. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Did that tell me anything? Did that tell me anything about automatic spirit writing? Did it tell me what the outcome is going to be? Now we're talking about planting trees and Chinese proverbs. Doesn't answer the questions that I need answered. Look at this. Don't care how long it is. Don't care how much it costs. Don't care where it happens. Don't care who it happens with. Why? Because I don't know what it does. I got to know what it does to care about any of these things. Because I ain't signing up for it. So it doesn't matter how long it is. Doesn't matter how much it costs. All right, let's keep going. We have a giant paragraph. This got to be in here somewhere. Let's dig deep. Automatic writing is a... Come on now. What is this? Copy, paste? Copy, paste. So you're not helping, you're not giving any more details. You're just saying the same things over and over again. Wasted opportunity. The content of automatic writing is produced through paranormal means. It's from a supernatural source. Automatic writing, as well as trance writing, can often be found in spiritualists and theists. If I was in high school again, junior year, and they're like, you've got to write a paper on automatic spirit writing. I don't know why they would ask that, but let's say they asked that. This is kind of what you would get. You would get a term paper. This is a term paper on automatic spirit. This is not sales copy. Okay? This is a term paper. Let's keep trying to find it. Automatic writing involves the production of a message, either by a physical object, without conscious intervention. Although the practice is often attributed to mediums and psychics, automatic writing is considered to be an automatic process and a psychic one. It's also a form of channeling and generally involves writing down messages or information the spiritualist feels are being communicated by another entity. At this point, I would like another entity to show up and tell me why I need to do this, okay? This form of channeling is where a spirit takes control of an individual's hand to produce an unknown script. Automatic writing is believed to be the activity of unconscious beings or spirits. Okay, I'm still searching for the why. What am I going to get out of automatic spirit writing? What is my problem now? Okay, let's be very basic about this. Problem, spirit writing, solution. Okay? Problem, spirit writing, outcome. That's all you have to do with the copy. Here's your problem. Spirit writing connects your problem with your outcome. How? Tell me. Logically, right? Make it make sense. So get me down that path. That's all you have to do. Writing a term paper about automatic spirit writing doesn't get it done. Chinese proverbs doesn't get it done. This little paragraph right here about a feature, about whatever it is, doesn't get it done. So now I come down. Not going to book now. Not going to do it. Because I have no reason to yet. I don't know what my problem is. Don't know what my outcome is going to be. Don't know how spirit writing is going to bridge those two things. All right, knowing is making a difference. And now we have some very short testimonials. Very short testimonials. Okay, let's go back and we're going to see this problem repeated over and over again. And this is going to, I'm just guessing that we're going to see the problem repeated over and over again. I'm going to go to deep chakra healing. I know I've heard the word chakra before, okay? So I'm a little more familiar with this than I was the other thing, but still. What are we looking for, guys? What is my problem? What is the outcome? How is XYZ going to get me from one to the other? How is deep chakra healing going to get me there? In this session, you will be clearing and energizing 8 of the body's chakras on a deep level, okay? This would be described as lazy copy. Once again, we see we lack the why, right? Here's what it is, and then we're missing the why it matters part. Okay, we come down here. Oh gosh. Wow, this quote is really special to the person who is running this site because we're going to see it on every page, I guess. And then we get our term paper again. In this session, you'll be clearing and energizing 8 of the body's chakras on a deep level. Firstly, I will guide you into a grounding and protective meditation. Once in a relaxed state, we will be concentrating on each chakra in turn, where I will then guide you. Guys, stick around because there's going to be a major lesson that comes from this. Major lesson incoming, okay? Once in a relaxed state, we'll be concentrating on each chakra in turn, while I will then guide you through clearing and releasing any lower energy or trauma stuck within that chakra from all lifetimes, getting to deep core issues. I will guide and talk you through the process, giving you the sacred space to be shown these deep core issues, which may be forgotten. I will help you by asking key questions, if needed, to bring them up and to show you, to be shown to you. We're going to get into mini tutorials in just a second if you have anything you want to learn on the fly. Then we can clear, release, and heal. I will then give sound and energy, spirit healing as we go through each chakra clearing. At the end of the session, you will have your main energy chakras cleansed. Okay, here's an outcome. At the end of the session, you will have your main energy chakras cleansed, balanced, and full of universal light energy, having been released of lower energetic core issues. This will help your overall health and well-being. Okay, here's the thing. I don't want to help my overall health and well-being. Anytime you're selling fitness, health, nutrition, whatever, overall health and well-being is never the selling point. Nobody cares about overall health and well-being enough to invest a lot of money in doing a specific thing. They need to recognize a specific problem they have and pay to get that specific problem fixed. They don't pay to fix generic problems. Okay? So that's number one. This is not impactful because it's far too generic. But it also doesn't really give any specifics of like, I need a little more to chew on, right? These sessions have helped people become more confident within themselves. Okay, now you're going to list some specifics. Becoming more open to their spiritual path, with new awakening gifts coming on board, feeling lighter in their energy and physical body, an insight into issues, and once cleared, giving them overall sense of calmness and peace. It feels a little nebulous. It feels a little generic. It doesn't feel quite specific enough. This is a little bit better than the other copy that we reviewed over here, but it's not a lot better. This could be done a whole lot better. Also, I need imagery. I need, break this up. Give me some bullets. Give me some subheadings. Give me some more stuff to chew on. You have more space here. People will read more content if it is captivating content, engaging content. I mean, think about a sales page. People will read 2,000 words of sales copy if it's captivating sales copy, if it's got images in there, right? If it's broken up with all these different things. So what happened here? This is the big lesson incoming, right? The majority of this site is these services. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's all of them. Let's make sure that's all. Let's click on view all therapies. Oh, it's not. My gosh. Woo. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 24 services. 24 services. These 24 services make up 90% of this website. So what most people will focus on, and this is clients and web designers. We got to get the colors the way we want. We got to get the typography the way we want. We got to get the imagery on the homepage the way we want. They spent a bunch of time probably on like, should we have the 100 VH heroes, right? What's going to be our hero photo back there? What's going to be the layout of these pages? All right, we're going to make a template for all of these services. What's our template structure going to look like? They thought about everything except the most important thing, which is the copy. The copy on this website, like it is on many, many, many websites, was the afterthought. It wasn't the main thought. It wasn't, see, if I was consulting this business and I would sit down and say, look, yes, we have to have a beautiful website. Yes, we have to have consistency in design and spacing and all of that. 100%, we have to have those things. It doesn't matter how well we execute on any of that. By the way, I want it to be accessible. By the way, I wanted to have good color contrast ratios. By the way, I wanted to have clean code. By the way, I wanted to have, and the list goes on and on and on. Those things are all important. But what I'm going to tell you, Mr. Client, is that we have some services that are going to be a little bit difficult to sell to certain people. And the copy on this website is, without a doubt, the number one thing we have to focus on. We're going to make it clean. We're going to get the good presentation. Okay. But if you don't focus on the copy, which basically means if you don't pay us to write the copy, which I'm going to tell you up front is going to be thousands of dollars. It's going to be thousands of dollars to write this much sales copy for 24 different services. But if you don't make that investment, the entire investment that you do make in this website, put it right in the trash, because it's not going to convince people that arrive here. Nobody cares how beautiful it is. Nobody cares about consistent spacing. Nobody cares about great typography enough to be like, yeah, well, the copy doesn't really tell me anything. It's not connecting with me. It doesn't show me how my problem is going to be solved, but I really like the colors. I like the colors and spacing so much. I like that photo right there so much. I'm just going to sign up for automatic spirit writing. That never, ever has happened in the history of a marketing website. Ever. Just like somebody doesn't go to Tesla and go, God, that's some gorgeous photography. I'm going to buy a Tesla. No, they buy Tesla for other reasons. Okay? So if you're consulting this client, this copy was clearly the afterthought. It was, let's plug this into the template that we created and let's rock and roll. And this will 100% fail. And remember, this is the entirety of the website. There's no reason to have the website if we're not going to talk about our services. So this is the number one most important thing. It was an afterthought, and now the website is going to fail. And none of the other stuff that we talked about matters, because this is not going to sell these services. So the client has to get to a mental and emotional place where they say, I understand how important the copy of the website is to sell our services, and I'm willing to invest the thousands of dollars that it's going to take to write the kind of copy that's going to convince people to sign up for these services. And if we have to put more money into copy than we do into design, that's what needs to happen. You can't put more into design and less into copy and hope for a really good outcome, especially in a situation like this. Okay, so that was the really big thing. And, so many people, they don't even talk about copy with their clients. Copy's like, oh, you're going to provide the copy? Box checked. But you're failing your client because this is the kind of copy they're going to give you. And when a client insists, usually it's because they have a weapon of some sort. When they're allowed to do the copy for their website through our agency, it's usually because they have a weapon of some sort. And so we say, all right, you give us the copy, but here's the thing. Don't give us all the copy. I want you to give us the copy for the first service. Because I don't want their workload to be too big, right? I don't want them to be late. Okay, just focus on this one. Give me that. Deliver that to me. And then they deliver this right here. And then I have another meeting again, right? We gotta take them aside, arm around the shoulder, right? Digitally, of course. We're just doing this on Zoom, kind of like we did with the logo, right? Because this is that logo version of copy. Okay, it's not professional. It's not great. It's not good even. So we have to have another conversation. Okay, Mr. Client, I know you wanted to save money on writing the copy. I know you guys thought you could do this yourself. I just am going to be honest with you. This copy will not sell this service. Period. End of story. So we have a decision to make. Do you want to pay to get new copy written, and we're going to do this for you? Or do you want to alleviate us of the responsibility of your website getting any traction, momentum, sales, whatever? Because that's the thing too. If you let the client write the copy and you just stick it in and then you hit publish and you send this website off into the wild and nothing happens, no rankings, no sales, no leads, guess what? The client is Bev and Fred are never going to get together in a boardroom. And this kind of company wouldn't have a boardroom, right? But you get the point. In the break room, at the water cooler, Bev and Fred would never stand at the water cooler and go, Bev, you know what I think happened with the website? That shitty copy we gave the web design agency isn't converting. That's not the conversation they're going to have. The conversation they're going to have is, that shitty web design agency builds us a website that doesn't get any results. That's what the conversation's going to be. So if you're a web designer, you have got to cut this off. Immediately when this gets delivered to you, we got to have a conversation. This copy is not going to sell you. Be very, very point blank. I want you to be successful. I want you to get all these leads. I want your business to grow. This copy is not going to accomplish that mission. Just be very, very honest with them. And then it's a discussion of how are we going to acquire copy. Look, you don't even have to hire me. Don't hire me. Please go hire a copywriter of some sort that knows what they're doing and get us new copy. This copy is not going to work. Okay? That's the discussion you have to have with them. Now, if they pull out a weapon or something like that, and it's like, no, we got to rock and roll with this copy. Okay, here's what I want you to do, Mr. Client. I just want you to put in writing, okay, that if your website gets no leads and no ranking and none of that other stuff that you want, that it's not my fault, right? We had this discussion, right? Now, I don't say it like that. We'll have some sort of thing. It's like a little disclaimer for you to sign, right? Here's the thing, that you're proceeding with a copy that we don't feel is adequate for the goals that you've stated. Okay, and because you cannot allow them to put this on you when you have done your job of really standing up and saying, this is not going to work. So that's kind of the way that I approach it. Because they're going to go tell everybody else, oh, they built a website for it, doesn't do anything. They're going to leave you a negative review. Sorry, Jack. You signed off on the copy that we clearly told you was not going to work. All right, so now, by the way, let's back up so you guys understand. Have I ever really had to do that with a client? The answer is no. Because clients know from the jump that I am not a pixel pusher, I'm a consultant. They're hiring me to tell them that shit is not going to work. That's why they're choosing me, because they know that's what I'm going to do. And so I'm going to tell them that copy is not going to work, and they're going to go, we trust you. Now what do we do? Well, you can hire us to write the copy, or you can hire any other copywriter that has great experience that you think is going to get the job done. Hire them. I don't care who writes the copy. This copy is not going to work. Get us new copy. And they're like, got it, done, and they do it. Okay, so it starts with positioning yourself as a consultant so that when you stand up and say, this logo needs to be fixed, then they go, all right, I guess we got to fix it. Or you say, this font is not going to work for these headings. Okay, I guess we got to change. I guess we got to choose a new font. That's how you want clients responding to you. You don't want clients saying, no, you got to stuff our 18 logos in the header. Well, sorry, right? That's not what we do here. We don't stuff 18 logos in headers. We have a logo in the header that's for your company, and then we're going to find other ways to represent your sister companies on this website. But we're not going to stuff all the logos in the header, and we're certainly not going to link them to every sister company website or oddly to other product pages on this website. We're just not going to do that. And we have clients that respect us when we stand up and say, that's not going to get done. Right? And so then we come up with other solutions. Okay. Let's get back to the chat. All right. Why the share button is there? Do the visitors share a section? Ooh, I didn't even see a share button. Hold on. Let me look. Share. Oh, right here. Good question. It's like a share a post. Yeah, I guess you can share the page. You don't share the section, it shares the entire page. Which, by the way, this is very 2008, right? 2008, people might have done this. 2023, probably not doing it. Do you think this was Chat GPT? What would I ask it? What is automatic spirit writing? It's probably not copy paste Chat GPT, because Chat GPT would have put automatic spirit writing. I mean, they obviously could have edited it. What is automatic spirit writing? Wow, it's thinking. Okay. It's different, but it's very, 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 very similar, right? It's basically what you would expect a Chat GPT to write, right? So they could have used AI for it. I don't know. I'm not going to accuse them of using AI. But if you look at AI, how AI writes, fairly academically, right? AI does not write sales copy. So I can see the thought process there. I'm afraid the site was made by a cousin, as we say in Italy, just for joke. No, that's not just Italy. Look, you know how many cousins are in the United States? Oh, my gosh, cousins do everything in the United States. Cousins do photography, cousins do copy, cousins do web design. Yeah, brothers too. Brothers are huge in the United States. I got a brother that does the copy. I got a brother that can do web design. I got a brother that can handle my hosting. Yeah, we got brothers and cousins in the United States, unlimited amount of them. Most freelancers I see don't like to write copy. Understandably, including copywriting service in your packages is a great idea. So this is a really good point that Amir is making. Hey, maybe you're a freelancer. Maybe you don't know how to write copy. Maybe you don't like copy. Like you just hate writing, right? So A and B situation. A is we just let the client handle it. We plug in what they give us and we move on with our life. B situation is you still understand how important, not just important, how critical good copy is. And so you network and build a network of copywriters who you love and trust and you know they do good work. And so when your client hands you this, you go, this is not going to work. I don't happen to write copy. I'm not a copywriting expert, but I know this isn't going to work. And I've got 3 people in my network. They're not affiliated with me. They're not on my team, but I've seen the work that they do. I've referred other clients to them. They knocked it out of the park. I'm going to put you in touch with these 3 people, and we need you to commission the copy from them, because this is not going to work. So it doesn't need to be a situation where you're charging for the copy or you're taking charge of the copy. It's just a situation where you say, with the client, as a consultant, this copy is not going to work. Here's some people that can get it done. So if you don't want anything to do with it, that's perfectly fine. It doesn't mean you can ignore it. You still have to have a solution for the client. All right, let's see. 2008 feels like an eternity ago, but I guess in tech it is. Yeah, every 10 years in tech, it might as well be like 30 years, right? The AI content detectors say it is most likely human written. Yeah, I mean, it probably is human written. Just not good, right? If you're reading copy and you're like, I wonder if AI wrote that. It just wasn't written good. It's like poorly written. I heard the best thing about ChatGPT, when everybody was like, ChatGPT is going to take our jobs. We need that take our jobs audio probably. What's that meme? What was that from? Is that from, it's a cartoon. What is it from? Take our jobs. South Park, yes. Okay. I probably need that. But here's the thing I heard about ChatGPT. When people are like, it's going to take our jobs, somebody said, the only jobs that can replace is like a BuzzFeed author. When it comes to like copy, so everybody at BuzzFeed, their jobs are 100%, in jeopardy. But anybody else, probably not. They're probably not going to take our job. It can absolutely replace a BuzzFeed writer. And this is like, BuzzFeed level text. All right, let's see. Never mind, that website is all over the place. Copy is very expensive if done right. It's not, though. Because expensive is relative. And I have to have this conversation with clients all the time. And this is how you sell the copy. Because if you say, Mr. Client, this copy is not going to work. Well, what is going to work, Mr. Consultant? And you go, well, $5,000 copy, $10,000 copy. And they go, well, that's so expensive. All right. Well, tell me, how much money do you expect or want this website to make you over the next 3 years? I would really, really, really hope that the number you're about to give me is way over $10,000. Like way, way, way over $10,000. Right? Is this a 6-figure business? If we multiply that by 3, because a website has to be refreshed every 3 years. So I'm not going to say what is the money you want to make over the next decade or something like that. But, over the next 3 years, I mean, that's kind of a good benchmark. How much do you want to make over the next 3 years? If you make $100,000, and let's just say just from the website, the traffic, SEO, just what comes through this website, right? Because I imagine this kind of website would be fantastic for like content marketing, blogging, pulling tons of free traffic in through articles about all of this stuff. I mean, you could easily get this website into the tens of thousands of unique organic visitors every single month. Very easily. Potentially even the hundreds of thousands, right? So if you're really good at content marketing, you can create an entire business through this one website right here. And that is going to be worth what? Let's say it's $100,000 a year. Just through the website, $100,000 revenue. So multiply by 3, $300,000. Now, that's a website, this website with really good copy and really good content marketing. Now, the shitty copy was free, $0. Man, that sounds like a really good, that's a steal. If my cousin can do this copy for $0, do you know how much of a steal that is? But is it? Is it really a steal? You spend $0 on the copy, and then guess what? The entire website failed. You don't have tens of thousands of visitors. You don't have hundreds of thousands of visitors. You don't have $100,000 a year. it costs you an insane amount of money to deploy free copy that your cousin wrote on a website. An insane amount of money. Or you could write you could pay $10,000 for good copy, right? And then we could do some content marketing. And then because you have good copy, you also have tens of thousands of visitors or hundreds of thousands of visitors. You also have $100,000 in revenue a year or 200 or whatever it happens to be. Now is the $10,000 so expensive? Seems to me the $10,000 is like the linchpin of this entire narrative. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. This copy ain't going to work. So if it doesn't work, you don't have the visitors, you don't have the revenue. If you pay the money, you have the visitors, you have the revenue, and you make a lot more than you spent. That seems like the path forward. These are the conversations you have to have because people they always think, well, if I can get the copy done for free, that's like a box I check. But copy isn't a box you check. A copy is like the most important thing. It's not just a box. And if you let them think it's just a box, they're going to fail. You're going to fail. Everybody's going to be sad face, womp womp. Okay. Or you can just stand up and say, this copy is not going to work. The outcomes that you're hoping to achieve are not going to be achieved. We need to fix this in order for everything else to happen that's going to happen down the road. That's your job as a consultant. So $10,000 for copy for this site. If you're hoping to make hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of 3 years, if you're hoping to get tens of thousands of visitors, $10,000, that's not expensive at all. All right, let's see. What if clients say, this is the script I want on there, and you explain, but they insist? Again, it depends on if they have a weapon or not. If they don't have a weapon, I'm continuing to press. I am continuing to press them on, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. We need better copy. And then I'll go show them better copy. I'll take them to other websites. Hey, this is what your competition is doing. They're going to blow you out of the water with this. And you just show them the differences. Do whatever it takes. Now, if a weapon comes out, all right, we'll put the copy on there. But no weapon, hey, I'm still pressing. AI can only replace humans when clients know exactly what they want, give detailed requirements, so I think we're pretty safe. Exactly. All right, good. Preach, brother, content is king, 100%. And we can prove this all day long. You know how many ugly ass sales pages I can find you that make millions of dollars? Just absolutely terrible. Spacing's all off, colors are all off, just like awful. Millions of dollars. Why? Because the copy is gold. And that proves it right there. And that will happen day in and day out. Consequently, there is never an example of a gorgeous website with dog shit copy that's doing millions. Unless it's selling for another reason. Like they have an amazing brand or they've done all this other work or whatever. People are pre-sold before they arrive. Okay, those situations can happen. But if you take cold traffic, that's the key. Cold traffic to a gorgeous website with terrible copy, you get 0 conversions. You take cold traffic to a terrible looking website with gold copy, you get conversions all day long. That's just how it works. And clients need to know that that's how it works. All right. We got 5 minutes. I'll answer any questions before we jump out. We got good viewership. Sales is a skill. Copywriting is the method for the website to sell. 100%. I need to go have dinner, but of course we'll watch it back at a later point. Thanks for these great videos. You are very welcome. This is a last call for questions. If you haven't liked the stream yet, throw up a like, please. Drop a comment below. Ninja says, question. Do you, Kevin, or anyone else know a good copywriter? I've finished the text on my website, but after today, I feel I need someone to go through my site. I'm in Montreal. The good thing about copywriting is it really doesn't matter where you're located unless you need somebody writing in a specific, cultural way, or obviously language does matter at that point. But yeah, if you guys have any copywriters you want to recommend, drop them down below. I'm thinking of starting, if we go to like Geary.co, So I've been thinking about this for a little bit. I just got to get some other things done, but I'm going to have a resources area. So like all these resources that I have for dev and design and UX and SEO and just all resources, I think would be good to, catalog on this website. And then I also think that I can have some room for, hey, if you don't do SEO, here's some really good SEO people. Hey, you don't handle copywriting, here's some good copywriting people. And I'll just make a little directory of those referrals as well. That might be a good thing to have. All right, mini tutorial, how to style WS form with a CSS. Should we do it on the fly? We only have 3 minutes or so. I was having problems earlier with my whole local setup. Let's see if it's still broken. I don't even know if this site has a form. Let's see. Oh, look at this. Yes, it's still broken. I don't know what is going on with it. I woke up in this all runs through the VS Code, this branch in VS Code. And I woke up this morning and it was like right here under changes. It was like, you have 192 changes. I'm like, no, I definitely don't have 192 changes. And because it runs the sites kind of dynamically, the locals were broken as well. And I've been investigating it. And then my investigation had to cease because I had to do web design for Dommies. And it's looking like the style sheets just aren't loading right now. Maybe we can do it on a live site. This needs to be updated. Uh, 2.4 beta 1. Okay. All right, what do we have for forms? Forms, WS form. There we go. All right, we got a contact us form. All right, let's do a page, add new. Now, I can't do a lot because this is a live site, sample form. But I can show you how it's done. Should be it's fairly self-explanatory. All right, let's add a section. Let's make this a grid 2. Let's do a gap of L. I just want to put a form on this right side over here. So we'll do a form. Oh, no, not that kind of form. First of all, let's put a block to take up that first space. Now we'll put a form, a WS form. There we go. Then we would select a form. Let's just do contact us. Okay. Save. So this is what we get out of the box. Let's go to the front end. That's what you get out of the box. Now, I don't even know if this is configured on here. Form light, save. Yeah, it's not. Okay. So this is what we're getting by default with the form light class from Automatic CSS. Now, my website is not a light-based website. It is a dark-based website. So you see, we're going to lose our labels. They're going to go ahead and blend in. But all you have to do is come back here to Automatic CSS. And we go down to forms. And what I can give you guys is an update. Notice it says forms beta. We have light form styles, dark form styles coming soon. 2.5, version 2.5 of Automatic CSS should have all of your dark styles as well. So right now we only have light because we wanted to nail light. We wanted to get, it's very complex. I mean, you can look at the amount of things that can be customized in a form. I mean, forms are quite a nightmare, which is why it's so good to have Automatic CSS be able to do this with one class and then come back here and be able to change everything from this one spot. Because the other thing with forms is where the CSS loads is important. Sometimes you need an important override, exclamation mark important. There's so much stuff. So the ability to come back here and just do it in these panels is very, very helpful. But we don't have the dark form styles because we've been mastering the light form styles. And we don't want to basically duplicate all of the fixes that we have to create. So we want to get light form style to be 100%. Then we're going to do dark form style. We're basically there at this point. Let me put this on a white colored page. So we'll just do BG white. Okay, save. So this is what light form styles are for. So light form styles is customizing a form when it's on a light background. Then we're going to have dark form styles. Let me get rid of this and this. So when your form is on a dark background, this is the dark form style you would use. And then you would put the class form dark instead of form light. Make sense? Now, we're going to go customize the form. So you can customize your label styling. So here's your label color right here. You can see it was set to base dark. Why? Because this is the light form style. Now, I could make this base light and I could fix those on the dark style, but that wouldn't make sense because I'm doing a light form style. So I'm just going to leave this stuff and just kind of go through it. You can set your text size of your labels. Remember, we're doing label styling. So every input in here applies to your labels. You can put a background on your label if you want to. You can pad your labels if you want to. Have a bottom margin on your labels. You can do a bunch of stuff to your labels. Then you can come in here and do a bunch of stuff to your legend styling. Then there's your help text styling, right? You have your field and field set styling. You have your grid gutter, which we just added. So you can control the gutter in the grids here. Literally, you just go tab by tab. Most of it, you really don't even have to mess with. Like the defaults out of the box, as you can see. I mean, for a light form style, let's take it off and see what we had before. This is what we had by default. So not great, right? It's not using I don't know. It's not great. It's not great. But by default, I've done nothing. I've done absolutely nothing. I put the form light class on. I mean, now it's looking a lot sharper right out of the gate. Where is it getting this radius from? From my button radius. It's actually toning it down because you don't want this pill shape on your form fields. It doesn't look great. So it tones it down a little bit. But it's getting, the rounded corners effect from the buttons that are on the website. So it realizes, hey, we're not doing square stuff. We're doing rounded stuff. So it inherits that. It's inheriting all of your fonts. Your font sizes are all inherited, all that good stuff. Your button styling down here is inherited from your main button styles. So like out of the box, it really looks good by default. But you can always go in here and start customizing stuff. And it's just all organized in the back end. And the dark style will come in 2.5. So if you need specific stuff here, we're about to do documentation on all of our forms, which I'm absolutely dreading because, guys, can you just imagine for a second having to document what every one of these inputs does? I mean, just put yourself in my shoes for a second. Is this a situation you want to just spring out of bed and tackle? Not really. I know it's very important and it's coming, and we had to get it out of beta first, but I am just dreading. I am dreading doing documentation for forms. Shout out to Mark Westgard because, just having the courage to say, I'm going to build a really advanced form system plugin. I mean, it's a lot. Forms, it's a lot. All right. Is it easier to style from custom CSS? Absolutely not. No. Styling forms with custom CSS is an absolute nightmare. People who are using the form styling automatic CSS will pretty much all tell you it's a dream compared to trying to style this stuff with CSS. Will it work for WS Form free as well? 100%. Let's see. When is Fluent Forms going to be included in ACSS? Right after Dark Form Styles is released for WS Form. And by the way, guys, get this. The comment form in Bricks, like if you have a blog with a comment form at the bottom, slap the form light class on there, it'll look just like your other forms. So it styles the comment form in Bricks. It styles the Bricks native form. It's going to style your WooCommerce checkout form for you. So you do this work to style what a form looks like, and then you can make any form on your site look like that. Whether it's a comment form, a checkout form, a Bricks native form, a WS form, a Fluent form, doesn't matter. It's magic. It's magic. You put form light on, hey, now it looks like the form I like to have on this website. So you're doing this work once, right, for this website, and then all your forms can look like this. And you have two different styles to choose from, light and dark. Fluent Forms is already in Bricks Extras. It is, but is WS Form in Bricks Extras? Is the native Bricks Form in Bricks Extras? Is the common form in Bricks Extras? You won't need Bricks Extras after about another 8 to 10 months. 8 to 10 months, Bricks Extras, if you have frames. If you have frames, Bricks Extras will not be needed anymore. Let's see. Ooh, that's a great feature. I'm now looking forward to the full feature set very much. Okay, I think we're over time. I think we've answered enough questions. We've shown some things. We've had some good content today. As always, I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you for any likes that you are able to throw up on the stream. Drop a comment as well if you have an extra minute. And I will be back next Wednesday. And I've got another video slated to come out later this week. So make sure you're watching the channel. We've done a lot of really important work on automatic CSS documentation, on frames documentation. We're putting out videos on the automatic CSS channel related to new frames and new automatic CSS features. So make sure you're subscribed to that channel as well. If you're not, you're missing out on some good content over there and new feature releases. And there is some really, I can't talk about it, but there's some really amazing stuff coming to automatic CSS. So stay tuned. I'm out. Peace.